Next is the go to the cause for the public, where members of the public are invited to express themselves on school-related matters of concern to the residents of East Brunswick. To allow for fair and orderly public comment, folks are reminded that comments are limited to 5 minutes, and also, this is a televised meeting, and to protect the privacy of all students and staff, concerns regarding individual students and staff generally should be addressed by first meeting with the appropriate administrative staff. So we're going to combine our go to the cause with the public hearing on Mr. Figueroa's discussion right now. So we are open to go to the cause and the public hearing on Mr. Figueroa's report. Good evening. Please do state your name and address for the record.
Okay, hello. My name is Karen Familetti, and I live at 18 Stevens Drive in East Brunswick. I'm a parent of a 10th grader in high school, and I'm here tonight to speak as a concerned parent about healthy school start times. And I really just wanted to introduce myself to the new board members, since we have 3 new people, and we haven't had that many new people in a while. So I just want to let you know that I represent a group of parents in the district that support healthier school start times for the kids, generally in the junior high and the high schools. And this is all based on the knowledge of their special sleep patterns and the impact that school start times has on that. I've gathered extensive research on this issue from educators and from scientists, and I'm not going to present all that information tonight because I've done that here before. But I do just want to summarize what's been going on. I've been bringing this up to the board since about 2013, since before Dr. Valesky was here. And then when he came aboard, I met with him, and we tried to work some things out and move the start times without anything else changing, and that was a difficult thing to do. So when the strategic planning committees were created, it was going to be discussed as an item perhaps in the logistics committee, which they've asked me to be a part of, and being that transportation is the biggest moving piece of trying to change any kind of start time would be to work on the busing situation. Then we had the community input meeting last January, and that was an issue of utmost concern of parents and students alike. People that showed up to that meeting and requested something to be looked into for the start times. I know that the board approved in October for a company to go through and evaluate the transportation system. And I just wanted to address, there was a couple of students, one that came out in October to the board and one in November, and they both, a 6th grader and a 10th grader, came out to speak about later school start times. And so I wanted to address some of the things that came up during their presentation. And one of the things that came up was that it was difficult to do without the state mandating it for all districts. And if we're going to wait for the state, that's going to be a very long time. They currently are looking into running a pilot program with schools in the state. Last year there was a meeting that was out to the public that I went to and some other parents went to voice their concerns about it. And I'm in touch with somebody at the Department of Education, and they are still working on putting that together and making a representation to the governor. So that's what's going on there. And it would be nice and it would be easy if everyone would change at the same time, but it's not something that we need to wait for to look into to see if that we can change it without them. The other thing is school athletics. And that's another piece of the puzzle that if we start changing times, we run into some issues with getting people to after-school sports and things. And I'm here to say that many schools have done this across the country, and they all have athletics, and they have found a way to make it work. So I just want to make sure that when we're looking at the transportation, we're also going to, the board will also take a look at ways to make it worth with athletics. I mean, my son is in athletics, and his friends are in athletics, and athletics are very important. But when we take a look at school start times, which will be a health benefit to them as well as the rest of the school population, it might be worth looking into ways to make it work, with the athletic teams. I have a statistic that is old, but I'm sure it's something that's easy enough to get now. Back in 2013, there was about, for one semester, like spring, there's about 525 students in grades 8 through 12 that were registered for sports. And out of the total school population of over 3,000 kids, that comes out to about 14%. So, I wouldn't want to tell those 100% of the school population that we can't move sports, move school start times because of sports, when we should really just be taking a look at that smaller percentage and trying to make it work so that their schedule can work for what we really want to do for start times. And also thing I want to mention is that I saw there was a poster in Churchill last year that said, "Obstacles are opportunities in disguise." So let's take these obstacles that are here and try to find a way to make them work so that we can really benefit the health of our students as far as getting them the sleep that they need, because those teenagers have that unique sleep cycle that right now our early start time is impacting them detrimentally. There are schools in our Greater Middlesex County Conference that get out later than we do at 2:12. They get out at 2:40, 2:45, 2:50. So other schools get out later and they make it work. That's not to saying we can do it, but it's just, I don't want to not look at that piece of the puzzle too, as we're looking at transportation. And I know that that's all intertwined and part of it. Also, I wanted to say that, recently it's always mentioned that we came out 7th in that niche rank of best school districts. 5 of those 6 schools that are ahead of us start high school later than we do. So that's just a final thought. And I do have just some information for the new board members to give you about me, and we have a website and a Facebook page where we have a lot of information posted there, and you can find out. I had also gone back in 2014-15 through PTA meetings, so I've been talking to the district and the administration and parents for this for a few years, and I just hope that we can keep it going and keep working on these issues sooner rather than later, because like I said, I have a 10th grader, and I've been looking at this since he's in 6th grade, and he's almost gone, so it would be nice if he could benefit from a later start time.
Since you came to the trouble of coming out here, I'm going to give you, at least from my perspective, sort of a progress report on this issue. And as you know, strategic planning was a big component of this because we did get a lot of data from folks. We are looking very deeply into this issue. I think what is realistic is that there's probably some places where we can move things around. We have 3 start times now.
Right.
My preference would be maybe to look at 2. And when you have 2 start times, you might have a little more flexibility. But we have to look. Everything has to fall into place.
Right.
And as you mentioned, transportation is one of them. You mentioned that right away. What I think is unrealistic is flipping the start times right now, because we do have to take what the other districts are doing into account.
No, that's
but I think that we could get to a place where if we start seeing all the other districts flipping their start times, and we would have to, unfortunately, we can't take the lead on that, we would have to sort of follow, we could set it up that we just flip a switch if we start to see that as a trend. But I do think that there is potential for tweaking what we have, and I'd like to see that, because I do agree with you. It's kind of early, especially when you get into December, January, and you're looking outside and it's dark, and I'm pulling up to the high school and it's dark. That's not a lot of fun. But there's a lot of things that go into this, as you mentioned, transportation, everything. Everything sort of has to fall into place. But it's something we're looking at, and that's.
And I think it's also important to understand that going from 3 start times to 2 is really a costly venture for us.
Yes, absolutely.
So it isn't just a matter of prioritizing, trying to get that start time to be later. It's a matter of coming up with a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And as you can see or hear from, our budget reports, we've got a lot of competing interests, just within our regular budget. And to add, perhaps as much as, a 25% increase in it could just be,
Well, that's right, yeah.
unfathomable
We have
for
3 start
us.
times for a reason. We got there because of budget reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
Karen, you always bring us good information. Thank you so much for always keeping on it. I just don't want anyone to put all the blame on athletics. We have a vital extracurricular program, particularly at the secondary level, that involves a lot of team competitions. So it's not just the athletes getting to the games, it's the kids and all the science and math competition teams, the kids in IPPL, and anything that involves meeting with other people in the
Right.
state. So we have thousands of those kids. But again, in order to make an informed decision, you have to have all the facts. We really appreciate you bringing us some of those facts. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you again very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address for the public hearing or for the good of the cause? Good evening. Please do state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Gina Boris, and I live at 9 Eric Lane in East Brunswick. And I, along with Karen, I'm also going to speak to you tonight about the healthy school start times. As a research neurobiologist, medical writer, and a mom of an 8th grader in Churchill Junior High School, I have spoken to the board before about the abundance of compelling scientific research that identifies the unique circadian rhythm of adolescence, that demonstrates the negative impact that chronic sleep deprivation has on cognitive performance, decision-making, physical tasks, and mood, and quantifies the numerous benefits that later school start times can have. But tonight, I want to specifically bring to your attention a first-of-its-kind national conference on adolescent sleep, health, and school start times, which will be taking place this April 27th and 28th in Washington, D.C. The goal of this conference is to provide a forum for all interested school stakeholders to come together and discuss why later school start times are so important for our adolescents and how school districts can successfully implement healthy school start times. For presentations and discussions on the latest science and implementation strategies, this interactive conference is bringing together education policymakers, leading sleep experts, administrators, teachers and staff, healthcare professionals, and transportation experts. We encourage someone from the board or administration to attend this conference so you can hear firsthand from these experts and network with people who can share their experiences and thoughts about making the change to healthy school start times. I have flyers for all of you about this conference. Registration is about $100, and if cost is an issue, Karen or I, just let us know, and we would be happy to contribute or take up a collection. Please consider attending for the health and well-being of our teenagers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you'd leave that with Dr. Ogden, that would be great. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anyone else for the good of the cause or the public hearing? Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Sarah Boris, and I live at 9 Eric Lane too, so I'm her daughter. And I'm less scientific because more like personal experience. And I'm an 8th grade student at Churchill Junior High, and also about school start times. So I know from personal experience and like friends that waking up like 5:30 in the morning to get to school is really hard, and especially when it's really dark out, it's not encouraging to get up. And it's like my bus would come at 6:30 to pick me up, and because of workload, sports, clubs, and extracurricular activities, my mom knew that I needed to get more sleep, so instead she drove me to school, and this allowed me to wake up at 6:20 instead of, that's when my bus would practically come, so it gives me more sleep. But not all students have parents that are able to drive them, so if school times kind of adjusted more to people's schedules, it would be easier. And it doesn't really have to be a drastic change, because just small, like getting driven the extra like half an hour or even like hour of sleep helps a lot and kind of makes you focus more and like not be falling asleep in class. And you know, a lot of times you have a lot of work, but sometimes I'll be tired and I'll go in bed at like 10 o'clock and I just can't fall asleep because I don't know, I just don't. And I'll lay there till 11. Sometimes I know from friends, they'll get in bed at 10:30 and they won't fall asleep till like 12. And this only will let you get 6 hours sleep or sometimes like less. And that's not enough for you to do your best in school. And sometimes if school like started at 9 o'clock or something like 8:30, you'd get even more, like 8 hours or even 7.5 or something is better than 6. And sometimes like younger kids wake up earlier, they go to bed earlier, they get less homework, and older students get more homework, have a harder time going to bed, and they have to wake up earlier. So it doesn't really make that much sense that you'd make the younger kids get to go to school at 9 and the older kids have to wake up at 6 or 5:30. So I don't know, like parents have to stress about getting their first grader on the bus and being like late to work, where an 8th grader can get on the bus by themselves at 8:30. So I don't know, it would fit both ages' natural rhythm. So some also argue that doing this won't allow an older student to get home for a younger child, but after-school programs in the school can help. And I know that I went to the after-school program from kindergarten to 5th grade, and it helped me like get my homework done, and it was fun, so it wasn't like hard, and my mom would just pick me up when she was home from work, or my dad. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Boris?
You're a very articulate, poised young woman.
Yeah.
It is hard to get
Way
up
to
there,
go.
and you just gave a really beautifully said speech.
I think your argument was much more compelling than the other arguments, although good ones, You've kind of made it real, so thank you for that. Appreciate that. Nicely done, you're right. Excellent. Anyone
I wonder
else?
what Ruthie hears among her friends
Oh, I hear that all the time.
all the time, right?
I'm just happy that I have Leighton, so I come.
Oh, there's the fixed late in, of course.
Wow.
But
Don't even tell them about that.
that's only a senior privilege, guys. You earn it.
I think, can't you take a class during that period?
Sorry?
Couldn't you take another course during that
Yeah,
period?
you can, but I meet all the requirements for graduation.
Okay.
I'm in senior year, I may as well take advantage of it. But a lot of my friends do complain about the start times.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're working towards it, so.
all right. Hi, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Andreia Alamo. I live at 6 Jackson Street, East Brunswick. And I don't have a big, wonderful prepared speech, but I wanted to ask you. You had said if other districts or some other schools change their school start times, then we would follow.
No, what I said was that
I'm asking, was that what you said?
No, we are not in a position to flip our start times
Mm-hmm.
because we'd be the only district that does, and we just couldn't compete in athletics. We couldn't do any of the after-school stuff. If we start to see that the state is going in that direction,
Mm-hmm.
it would probably be sometime we could revisit it, but we can't take the lead on that. But I'm
Why not?
hearing there's a pilot. Why not? Because we wouldn't be able to compete in athletics. I hear there's a pilot program. I'm interested to see if that works and how that works. But I just personally can't see how we could do that. We wouldn't be able to compete in athletics. Most schools are getting out around that time, maybe not exactly then.
And all
but
the
I-
academic competitions, too.
Well,
Those two.
and actually, I have had some experiences being at athletic competitions, and they don't actually get to start on time because, number one, we have difficulty getting bus drivers to get the kids to these competitions. So sometimes the buses aren't available until later. But secondly, if they are getting out of school later, then they are arriving later to the event. And, I mean, it's not either, the whole athletic administration within the state needs to get together and say, hey, we are no longer going to be able to have 4 o'clock competitions. Everything's going to need to be at least 5 o'clock or what have you. But some type of coordination needs to take place so that, the start times for these athletic events or whatever competition or extracurricular activity that might be involved, it's only fair to start when you say you were going to start. I mean, there are officials involved, there are trainers involved, there is security within the buildings that's involved. So there's a lot of factors.
It would seem they'd all have to be in sync to some degree.
Exactly.
They'd have to be in sync. I didn't even know they start some of these events as late as 4 o'clock now.
Oh, that would be an early
And that
one.
would be pushing them to 5 and
Yeah.
6. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
these are things, there's a lot to this. There's a lot to this, and we are looking at them, but there's just a lot to it.
Okay.
So,
Just to
thank-
reiterate her words, my son, he says it every single day. You can make me go to sleep at 10, but I'm not going to be falling asleep. He
I've got
just
the same
stays
thing.
in his room,
Got the same thing.
and he's awake. Not because he wants to be, but because he physically cannot fall asleep.
And, to let you know that at least I understand. I mean, I remember getting phone calls regarding my daughter in 9th grade falling asleep in first and second period class.
I got them too.
And, insinuations that there, was some other problem here if they're falling asleep. But you know what? They were just tired.
Yeah.
And they might have been staying up too late doing things that perhaps they didn't need to do. But that's what their
But more likely than
circadian
not,
rhythm-
their body wants them to be
Exactly.
asleep at that time.
Exactly.
So,
But anyway.
thank you.
And that was a long time ago, so this isn't, a new problem.
thank you for
Thank
keeping
you.
this in
We
the,
are.
in the thoughts. of
It
the
is.
board.
Anyone else wish to address the board or talk about the public hearing? Seeing none, I will close both. We'll go to the cause of the public hearing.